Alright, welcome to Golden Talks. This is going to be an educational episode. I actually really wish I had a stand to really position my camera. Like a proper phone stand because I'm filming on this pillar right here. Now if I had a phone stand, which I did have before, it would have been more efficient to record my videos, but we don't, which is very unfortunate. So I'm going to have to use one of my hands. I use my left hand and I may switch to my right hand every now and then. But this is more so a golden lesson. The crows are trying to mess up my video. I know my presence is amazing. I'm literally called Golden. Why wouldn't they want to be near me? But I have a video to record. Let me teach you. I actually recorded this video a while back. I think about a year ago. But I deleted it for some odd reason. I was too scared of what people thought. When I deleted the video, I thought to myself, hey, no one cared anyway. Let me talk my truth. I'm going to educate you on the concept of sexual market value. Let's get straight to the point, guys. So what is sexual market value? In short, I want you to view sexual market value as the desirability. How wanted are you from the opposite sex? Now, there are many factors which determine your sexual market value. For men and women, the game is different for men and women, so the standards may be a lot easier for women, to which it is. In comparison to their male counterpart, the rules, the regulations, the game, it's a lot different. I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective, and I guess it kind of links to our perspective in terms of what we want. Now, as a man, you're a man watching this too, and I know this because of the things I talk about are topics that commonly a man would search, not really a woman. And I also know this because my analytics are majority men, so, you can relate to me. So, from our standpoint in terms of what we find attractive in a woman, we mainly value a woman based on beauty and sex appeal. That's like the first initial primal thing we look for. Beauty, sex appeal. Is she hot? Is she not? Now, of course, we're all wise enough to know that there is more than just beauty and sex appeal. Of course we know that. But initially, in the attraction phase, and you guys cannot tell me different, and don't you dare lie, to fall in love with someone and to eventually cuff her up, you need to feel attracted to her in some way, shape or form. And physical looks plays a major factor. The people are saying otherwise are bullshitting. There's a lot of obese bitches out here. Let me reframe my language. There are a lot of obese women out here, right? But they probably have really stunning personalities also. And you've probably walked past them God knows how many times, and you probably would have never given them the time of day. Of course you wouldn't, because they don't take care of themselves in a physical sense. So subconsciously, we're thinking, she's probably not going to be a very good mother for my kids. And she may be. Yes, there is the saying, don't judge a book by its cover. But in these circumstances, you need to look to play a major factor when starting out. It's the same vice versa. Women, they see a fat guy, they're not going to want him. They're going to see him as lazy. It's not masculine. You have bitch tits now? That's not masculine at all. Tits are feminine hormone. You don't need that. So it links back to what I was talking about. Beauty and sex appeal. That's the first thing us men see. And then the other factors coming after that. But that plays a major factor into your sexual market value. I would even go as further to argue that in terms of the sexual market, women tend to peak a lot earlier than men in terms of age. And I've seen this myself. I'm not just talking out my ass. I've had this concept on the internet and it's very true. But I've also seen it in real life. I remember when I was 14 years old. It was lockdown, right? So this was 5 years ago. It was quarantine period. We were all in lockdown. And I think this was about 6 months in lockdown, 6 months in isolation. I remember coming back and the men and the women started to really develop. Us in the height department, a lot of people started to become a lot taller. I know myself most definitely. Because when I was 13, I was 5'5" and a half. Then I went up to 5'9" in a year. So that was our kind of peak, but it's not really peak in terms of sexual market peak. In a wider scale, maybe, people around your age range, but not on a wider scale. But what I noticed was the women started to really, really physically develop. I don't know what happened within those 6 months, but they just got so pretty. Their face was just 10 times more attractive. They were starting to have an hourglass figure. You could see in their tits, their hips, their ass. They started to really blossom. And that starts at 14. Am I a pedophile? Absolutely not. I'm just telling you what I experienced and what it tends to be. If you were to take a picture of all of their bodies, you guys might call me weird, I'm speaking the truth. If you were to take a picture of their bodies and just not show the face, but just them when they start to develop, and you just showed, like, I don't know, average men, like 25 years old. Let's say you showed their body of a, say, flipping 14-year-old, and they showed a body of like a 35-year-old. They would pick the 14-year-old's body. And this is bearing into mind, they don't know the faces. This is all instinctive. They would pick the 14-year-old. Let's up the ages a bit. Let's say 18. And you pick someone, the average 18-year-old's body, the average 35-year-old woman's body. You never show the faces. They would pick the average men, they say like 30 years old. They would pick the 18-year-old. The younger tends to be more desirable. Now, of course, I'm talking about legal ages. I'm not telling you to be a pedophilia or anything like that. That's absolutely disgusting. I just stamp their head out on broad daylight. But you guys get where I'm coming from. So women tend to peak early, and I know this because from my experience, just being in a high school setting, I remember a lot of the girls that get hit on by the men in our year. Each year they just get more attractive. 15, 16, 17, 18. It's no coincidence that I had a crush on damn near every girl in my year group back in high school. Oh, don't even get me started in college. Whew. I'd even go as far as to say women peak at age 18. Age 18 is when they really start to have their biggest sexual market value peak. In the sense of desirability from men, that's really when it starts to begin. In terms of a physical standpoint and physical beauty, I believe it goes from 18 to 23. And it starts to dip a bit. Now, the women, let's say, who are 23 to say 24, 29 years old, they're still beautiful, still desirable. In fact, when I'm in my 30s and I'm probably looking to settle down for a woman, I'd probably go for that age range. Although they may not be as beautiful as the young 18 to 23-year-olds, they'll still be pretty hot. And from my standard, they'll have more of a package, they'll have more life experience. And I guess you could argue they do tend to start to thicken out, which will make them a lot more desirable to men. But there's a reason why they begin panicking after a certain age, usually about 25. Would you like to know why? Because they know their time is limited. This isn't a coincidence. Women have a body clock. This is why women, they'll try push marriage into your face. They'll try push having kids in your face as soon as possible. Men and women, they live in completely different timelines, my friend. Men and women want things at different ages. I'm 19 years old, right? A woman at 19, she may already be thinking about having money. No money, it's more of a masculine trait, but they may already be thinking about having kids in like the next 6 years at age 25. I'm 19. When I'm 25, am I going to get into a relationship? Hell no. I'm probably going to be thinking about business growth, career growth, success. Far from that. Will I date? Probably. I can have my fun. I don't see the issue. If I worked out, can I not have my fun? Date a few women. Why not? Let's have some fun. Not in a degenerate way, just to enjoy company. No, pleasure on both sides, and I'm not referring to having sex. Because I want to be rare. And the less dick I put into people, the more I have self-respect for myself. And you're also perceived as rare. So I don't see the issue. So that's why women tend to panic. And I've seen this myself. You can be 18 years old. You've seen it all the time, man. How many 18-year-olds make flipping OnlyFans accounts? They make millions just for being young. People will buy, man. Even if you're a 30-year-old woman, you're more likely to get more sales in terms of OnlyFans. If you're a 20-year-old, you're a new hot prospect on the market, you're in the peak of your social beauty, the most desirable to men, you're going to get hit on. I'm telling you the truth. I mean, personal stories also. Seeing it from people that I know. Trust me, I've heard stories in real life. It's way more common than you think. Way more common. They will get hit on in public. In social media. In terms of a marketing standpoint, marketing your body, I believe it's a lot easier for women. You can do certain things as a woman that a man cannot do. Now let's talk about a man's social value. Men are the opposite of women. They don't peak early. When you're young, let's say even before the ages of 18, you're not seeing a shit. You ain't shit. I'm gonna keep that buck. You have no value to the market. Now, I guess you could argue when you're a baby, oh yeah, you're so cute. Give that about 2 years later, you're just like everyone else now. To figure yourself out. And even then, kids are kids. They don't really serve a purpose to society. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but in terms of like serving a purpose, I know they're the future and whatnot. But in terms of doing something major now, men tend to do a lot of great things later on. And we're talking about from a dating standpoint. We could also branch out from many other areas. Right? I'm 19. When you're 19, women don't want you, man. Let me tell you something. When you're 19, when you're 18, you're 21, you're 22, you're 23, chances are you're not going to get the best picking of the women. In comparison to your female counterparts, you get all the high-level men. You can be 20 and, bro, 36-year-old millionaire can plausibly want you so long as you're hot. It's not about having money as a woman. Like I told you, the game is different. Even if you're a good-looking guy and you're in shape, let's take myself for example, that isn't enough. You know how we have, in terms of initial attraction, we look for, beauty, sex appeal, hourglass figure. For them, they're a lot more mental than physical in terms of what they want. Yes, they would like an attractive body because subconsciously it says, I can take care of you. It's almost like you're a walking billboard and you're like, woman, I'm ready. It's like you have this big light smoke flag. It goes in the air. And it's essentially saying, women, I'm ready. I got my shit together. That's kind of them doing it in a subconscious level with their body, looking attractive. It's the same with the male equivalent. But what I've learned is, for being a man, you really need to chase what you want in life. It's not going to come to you quick. You need to chase it, man. We're not born of any value. No one gives a fuck about you, man. No one's going to save you. You're not going to have no handout. There's no get out of jail card. Now, a woman has a get out of jail card. They can have dreams, ambitions. They may want to pursue a career. Do I believe women should work? No. I believe they should only work if they want to. I don't believe they have to work. But even if that goes wrong, so long as they remain beautiful and feminine, it's pretty much guaranteed at some point, someone's going to want her, and someone's going to cuff her up, probably going to wife her up, and she's probably going to have kids. They will always know at the back of their head, that will be that option, they have that option to do so. Us, on the other hand, we don't. Now, from what I told you, it's a lot easier for a woman. You can be broke, a man's still going to want you so long as you're beautiful and feminine. I would. Let's say I was a multi-millionaire. I saw a woman working at Wendy's. Hey, she's broke. I'll still find her attractive. She's pretty, she's feminine. I still find her attractive. I talk to her. I was like, what's up? We speak, have a nice conversation. Goes good, get to know her. And I probably soon enough go like, hey, come here, I'll take care of you. I'll pay you your bills. And I won't see an issue with that. In fact, it'll actually boost my ego in a good way. It'll make me feel like the man. And I believe we all instinctively have that, to want to be a protector and provider. And the analogy I gave you is a perfect example. What I also realized is, and this is coming from an in-shape man who's been training for about 5 years, so I'm aged 19 now. Being in shape isn't enough. Health, wealth, and relationships. Now, we've got the health part on point. I attract a lot of women just by having a good physique. It makes talking to women a lot easier. When you look good, it's the same with a woman. You look good, and it's easy to pursue, man. Very easy to pursue. I'm speaking the same of being in shape. But that isn't all. That isn't it. There are many other factors. You need to have money. Because relationships cost money. These are other factors women look at. They look at, do you have your own place? Have you navigated life? Do you have your shit together? They look at more factors than that. How are your assets? Do you have enough money to take care of me? Do you have enough money for the life I want? That doesn't even make the woman a gold digger. It's just normal to want that. If you want to have children, you need to have some form of money. I don't care how good your personality is. If you don't have a career or some form of money, you're fucked. Don't expect her to stay alone. She may see you, and let's say you do have a nice personality. She may stay with you for a bit. Hey, because a woman has a body clock, right? She may stay with you for like 5 years. If you still don't have your shit sorted, and we know leveling up as a man is hard as fuck. And it takes time. Even if that woman loves you as much as she does, she has a body clock also. And women are naturally selfish, just like us men. The selfish gene. So they will leave and they'll find another man who's successful. The same way, from our perspective, you may see a beautiful, gorgeous woman. There's a lot of beautiful, fat, obese women. I've spoken to many of them. They're very sweet and kind. Now, best case scenario, you get them to the gym, they lose shape, they look gorgeous even more. But even if they don't, there's always another pretty woman right there. We're probably gonna go for her. Even though her personality might be less good than her, probably gonna go for that one. The same way women will probably go for the more financially successful guy. I don't see the issue. It's selfish gene, just do what's right for them, you know. And so men tend to peak a lot later in life. And if you guys think I'm lying, if you guys think I'm talking shit, ask a woman who their celebrity crush is. I guarantee they're in their 30s or 50s. They're not going to be in their 20s most of the time. Your odd 20-year-old millionaire, that's 1 in a million. I'm not saying it's not possible, but in general, men tend to come in their full strides in their 30s and 50s. When you're 18, it's a big struggle. Early 20s, it's a big struggle. Mid 20s, it may get a bit better. Late 20s, you start to see some progress. 30s and onwards, assuming you put in the work, it really starts to take off. So it's like when you're 30, you're the equivalent of an 18-year-old woman who gains the attraction instantly from men. Except yours is longer lasting. You have a longer peak in terms of the attraction of the quantity of women you can get. And this is why I promote men to not settle down early. This is why I'm not gonna get into a relationship till I'm 30. Because every 6 months when you're in this, this journey of self-improvement, the quality of your woman is gonna get greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. This is common sense, right? And so why settle? A lot of men, including myself, when you're in high school, let's assume you're an average guy, you never really pull chicks like that in high school. And so let's say you do get onto self-improvement, you get onto a certain age, you start attracting women for the first time, and you don't know how to handle this because you've never received this much attention. And so you have a scarcity mindset. You're clinged, I don't even know if that's the right word, by pussy power. You have so much scarcity, you're like, oh my god, this woman's so beautiful, I'm never going to be able to see her again, let me just cuff her down. And I'm sure the sex is great for a few years. Eventually, you start looking like shit, you let yourself go. She eventually starts letting herself go also. Women tend to gain a lot of weight from aging, especially in pregnancy. So you both age. She's not going to look her best, and it's not saying she's going to get, it's basically me saying, I'm going to try frame in a word that doesn't sound like hey. She's not going to look as good as she did before, right? And then, let's say in an alternative scenario, because I just said that you would be fat in an analogy. Let's say you were good looking. Yeah. You get more attractive. And now you see the young 25-year-olds, the young 23-year-olds eyeing you up at like 35. You look at your woman, you may still love your woman, but in a physical sense, you can't help but feel a lack of attraction. It's very hard to find a woman your wife attractive in all areas. It's very hard to love your woman when you don't find her attractive either. You can have both. You can find her attractive and love her. And it's very hard when she ain't taking care of herself. And I know cheating is wrong and it shouldn't be done. I think cheating is disgusting, but I don't blame the men who want to go for the other beautiful women who are giving them attention, and they also have good personalities also. This is my theory, because I just told you men and women peak at different ages. Women tend to be most beautiful around early 20s. Men start to really take their stride in their 30s. Ask a woman who their celebrity crushes, I guarantee they're not going to be in their 20s. They'll be either in their 30s, 40s, 50s. I guarantee it. Ask a man, their celebrity crush, they'll probably be like their 20s or something around the lines of that. I've had many celebrity crushes. I don't really have celebrity crushes anymore. I feel like I'm too grown for that. But I do find a lot of them attractive. I always find the Kardashians attractive. And I searched up their age. I find people like Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner, I find them hot. Still do. Do I have a crush on them now? No. But when I did search up their age, they were in their 20s. And many other IG models, they tend to be in their 20s and they're really hot. And that's not to say there are people in their 30s that aren't, but you get the picture. But yeah, I feel like I'm rambling on a bit too much now. I don't want this video to be too long, though it probably is. Sexual market value in short, the desirability between men and women. Women tend to peak a lot earlier, late teens, early 20s, probably mid. Men tend to peak a lot later, usually 30s to 50s, assuming they take care of themselves. The only twist is, for men to reach their peak, you have to put some form of work in, and most men will never reach that because most men are lazy and overweight, they're unambitious. With a woman, it's pretty much guaranteed you're gonna hit your peak. You're gonna, in terms of a dating standpoint, attraction, you're gonna hit that peak. Yeah, that's sexual market value. Shout out to First Man, I got this idea from him. It was really valuable. And it's really a valuable insight to incorporate to my life. And it's a healthy mindset to have. So I know how I'm going to do my approach in terms of what women I will want eventually in my life. And it's good for us men, because we have so much time now. We don't have to stress being scarcity. Oh, we're not gonna, come on man. Put in the work, they're gonna want you. How would they not? The same way as they're being hot, they're feminine attractive, they're gonna want you. You put in the work in your own life to be masculine, they're gonna want you, man. Just, come on.